For the last few days, former Republican Speaker of the House John Boehner and Republican Senator Ted Cruz have been very publicly feuding with one another. And the reason for that is because John Boehner's got a new book out and he wants to sell his book. And in his book, he takes a lot of shots at Ted Cruz because, as we've explained in the past, nobody in D.C. actually likes Ted Cruz. So he took some shots at Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz has fired back on Twitter, said, "Oh, you cry all the time, blah, 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 blah." And then Boehner, yesterday, gives an interview where he really nails it on the head as to what Ted Cruz has been doing for years. Now remember, these two men did not serve in the same body of Congress. Boehner was in the House, Cruz was in the Senate. But Boehner said, I'll just read his little quote here. "This guy wasn't even a member of the House of Representatives. He was a member of the Senate, stirring up some of the crazies in my own caucus to cause all kinds of problems. And that's probably why I zeroed in on him, probably the only person in this book, in the way that I did. Because Ted Cruz stirred up the crazies," as John Boehner calls them. And we're not talking about Republican voters. Keep in mind, he's talking about members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, and refers to them as the crazies. And this was years before we even knew what a Marjorie Taylor Greene was. But he's not wrong. I mean, listen, John Boehner is not a hero for calling out Ted Cruz. John Boehner is one of the worst of the worst. This is the guy that handed out checks from tobacco industry lobbyists on the floor of the House of Representatives in the 90s. There's a video of that, by the way. But he's right about Cruz, because that's always been Ted Cruz's job, right? Get the crazies riled up. Go over there and start problems, cause a commotion. Don't go along, go against the grain just for the sake of going against the grain, because you think it's going to somehow benefit you politically. And what Boehner is referring to, obviously, is the Tea Party years, right? Back when that was a big thing happening in Congress. Ted Cruz wanted that Tea Party base because he's a desperate, pathetic politician. He just wants people to love him and vote for him. And so that's what he did. And then he would go back to Texas and say, "Look, even though I'm not in the House, look what I'm doing over here. Look, I'm working against the establishment. I'm doing all these great and wonderful things. I'm on your side. I'm one of you." And it never really worked out too well for Ted Cruz. And I think at this point, especially with Boehner explaining it this way, I think people are starting to realize that Ted Cruz just likes to stir the shit pot. And he stirs it because he thinks it benefits him politically. But as the old expression goes, he who stirs the shit pot should have to lick the spoon. And that is exactly the kind of comeuppance that Ted Cruz deserves.